day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the dawn, but I won't be done.
So I'm just going to ask Sarah Jane some questions about her bridal shopping experience. How did you decide on the shops that you were going to visit?
Well, when I first got engaged, I did a lot of research, and I suppose when you do get engaged, you tend to like a lot more social media pages that are linked to.
And as well as that, a lot of Pinterest has become a huge forum for bridal inspiration, and I think you did get a lot of your inspiration there.
Once I decided on the brands that I really liked, I then sort of put them into Google and found where they were stocked locally or indeed in Ireland. And then I just started to make a list of shops that I wanted to visit as a result of them stocking that designer.
Yeah.
And I organised appointments then after that.
A list/book. Sarah Jane created a book of all the shops that she
had their opening hours, their phone number, their address, and then the brands that they stocked, and highlighted the ones that I really liked. And it seems like a lot of work, but I love that kind of thing, so it was enjoyable for so.
And what designers, Sarah Jane, did you like? Like what ones were you drawn to?
Through my research, I knew I liked Hayley Page. I liked Tara Keeley, which she falls under the same bracket sort of as Hayley Page, but a more affordable range. David Fielden as well, which is an English or British designer, very similar style to Hayley Page, quite costly, but a lovely designer. Tariki Dees and Galia Lahav. And
Carrie's Closet, they also have their own designer, so they make a lot of their own dresses, so in their bridal store they can adjust any of the design. Bridal stores do you think you organised appointments for roughly? I would say a lot. I know that we made a lot of trips, but it was so enjoyable that really, we didn't mind at all.
So there's a few day trips to local stores, and then we actually did a weekend to Dublin, and we did a few stores on the way, and
a few stores in the city centre as well.
And then a few stores in the city centre, and that was a lovely weekend. And I also went to London, which was where I found the dress that I wanted. So I probably made maybe 20 appointments, which I know some people will think is ridiculous and crazy, and it was.
I'd say it was more 25.
Well, it was ridiculous, but I enjoyed it, and I know some people it's the first dress they try on. For me, I wanted to make sure that I was certain about my decision.
Were there any stores for you that stood out that you would maybe particularly recommend to people?
McElhinney's do such a wide variety of dresses, and actually lots of the designers that I mentioned earlier, they stock.
They have a beautiful suite.
They have a lovely suite and really good service, but they didn't stock Hayley Page at the time, but now they do. So I would recommend McElhinney's in terms of the size of the store, the treatment, great variety of designers. I also would recommend Petticoat Lane, and I think it might not suit every bride, but for me there was lots of choices that I really liked. It's a very quirky store.
Yeah, it is. It's quite small.
Very Etsy inspired, and it was called The Suite.
Yeah, it was gorgeous shop. Very quirky as well. And it was everything was white in the inside, and we were taken upstairs to a lovely bridal suite. And it's a very city centre of Dublin. It's on just off George's Street, and it's lovely.
One of the designers' dresses that I tried on there was
Monique
Coulier, and it's a beautiful brand.
It's stunning. It's a French designer, and you can just tell it's very feminine and lace, and there's actually sequins involved there, and they're absolutely beautiful.
Before we went to that appointment, Michelle Keegan had got married, and one of the dresses I tried on I feel was a replica of hers. It was very, very like it, and it was beautiful.
Absolutely stunning.
And I, for me it was really a really lovely dress, but there just was something that wasn't right for me.
Tell us about your experience in London, because I know you didn't go to London on a whim. It was an organised trip. We went there for a reason.
Well, first of all, the reason I went there was because I really liked the designer Hayley Page, who was only stocked in one store in Northern Ireland,
which at the time was Petticoat Lane.
But in the shop they only had maybe 2 or 3 of her designs. Now you could order them in and pay a cost for a rental.
It was £100.
And then if you bought it, you got it off the dress. But I just wasn't even sure what design I liked, because I really liked all of her. Kate and I, our birthdays are 8 days apart, so we decided to go to London and see what stock they had. And it was a really enjoyable trip. We got it quite reasonable. We stayed in a Premier Inn
in Waterloo, so we just got the train in. It was lovely, and we only went for 2 days really. The bridal shop where Sarah Jane actually got her dress is called Le Trois Sœurs, and
which means the 3 sisters.
and it is in Canary Wharf, and
It's a very cool shop in that it's a quite sophisticated decor. It's set
all black and white,
Mhm.
and it's below it's a train station, and beside it is like shops and businesses.
But it's in a shopping centre, isn't
Yeah.
it? And it's a glass front, so from the outside looking in, you can see people waiting for their appointment and all of their dresses. We thought before we went in that we'd be guided to a separate area, and you know, only Kate and my mum would see me wearing the dress. But
The whole of London, like it's actually lovely, because there's people going, oh, like that's
Yeah.
lovely, or you know, they're looking in, because it is mad to see someone in their wedding dress, you
and
know.
you could see that when I tried it on. Do you remember there was little
Yeah.
children even pointing, because I suppose it's not something that you see every
Yeah.
day. Probably wouldn't have liked it if it had been
At home.
because you know you think, oh no, they're going to see me in their
Yeah.
dress for.
And who should you bring to your bridal appointments, you know?
Well, I feel that you should bring people that you trust to a bridal appointment and you value their opinion and their advice on fashion. So for me, that would be my mum and my sister, because they're the first to say if something doesn't suit me.
Yeah, I suppose we'd be very, very honest in our opinion, you know, we wouldn't be holding back there at all. And I actually do really appreciate that, you know, it's
Yeah.
great to have people, and also it's great to have people who have a similar style, or you know, I know a lot of people don't have the same style as their mum,
Yeah.
but I know that my mum is my style. Is there any preparation that you should do before you go to these appointments? I know that they're very strict on tan and those kinds of things.
Well, I wouldn't have worn tan as much as it pained me not to, because I really think when you wear fake tan that you feel more confident
Definitely,
and
yeah.
much better about yourself. But I would have worn Dove and had a couple of showers, you know, after that. I also would have worn makeup, but I would have removed it from my neck and my chest area. So I'd always bring wipes or makeup remover with me to take it. An odd time I would have had a blow dry before an appointment, because I always think you want to feel your best, and
Definitely.
if that's what helps. I would recommend bringing a strapless bra and also bringing shoes or sandals of a suitable height, because it really gives you an idea of what you look like in the dress, and I think you always feel better and more confident with a pair of heels on.
How did you decide what style suited you?
So in my first bridal appointment, I tried on a variety of styles. So I tried on fishtail, tried on ball gown and A-line, tried on a more simple, the silk sort of gowns. And I think at that stage, I started to eliminate what was and wasn't for me. I think once you've decided on the style that suits your body shape, then that's where you start to sort of hone in on what you're looking for. And I think it's really important to go with what suits your body shape. I didn't want no straps. When I was looking, I had an idea of what I was after, but when it came down to what I suited most was no straps.
I think you do have to go with what suits you most, maybe not even what you like most, because I think you'll know and you'll feel comfortable. And
Yeah.
as much as Sarah Jane fought the Love Heart shape, it was definitely the one that suited her because of her height and everything,
Yeah.
because you don't want something,
It's going to overpower.
and because you were going for a fuller shape, you know.
Yeah, you needed something
Yeah.
more simple on top. But what I would say is people are sometimes very concerned with going with what's in trend at the minute, or a shape that they've seen on a celebrity.
You know, on
That.
Pinterest it is flooded with Berta and that kind of a style,
Yeah.
which is absolutely stunning, but you know, it might not just suit you. So
I did try on a Berta dress, and they're stocked in Verona Bridal, actually a bridal shop I didn't mention, but definitely worth a trip to. Dresses sort of start around 4,500 to 5,000. I definitely tried one on just for fun,
Yeah.
but that style didn't suit me, and I was glad I tried it on, because I always admire them on social media, but they're not for me.
How did you know that your dress was the one?
I don't think I ever fully realised that the dress was the one, because I had tried on so many dresses, which I really wouldn't recommend.
It can almost confuse you. You
It
were
does.
quite conflicted.
Yeah. And I think about half an hour before I decided on this dress, the dress that I did go for, I had decided that another dress was
the one.
I
You might
think-
have a couple of ones then.
Yeah, it's very hard to really
Yeah.
decide. And what I would say helped my decision and was that in some of the dresses I tried on, I said if it didn't have this, I would possibly go for it, or I might get this removed, or I think it needs this. When I finally tried on the dress I did go for, I didn't feel that it needed anything. I felt that it was complete, and that's always a good sign that, you know, I
Yeah.
didn't want to change any aspect of it. So I think having the opinion of Kate and my mum was very helpful. On more than one occasion my mum said that's the one, but I think really Kate helped sort of cement the decision for me with this one, because
I just think you also know, you know, when someone feels good in a dress, you know, it's very clear that when
Yeah.
someone feels
I think lots of the dresses you try on are very big in shape, and they place sponges down your back or clamps to help them fit. This dress was probably closer to my size than other dresses, and I think that really helped.
I think the veil was a big bonus as well, because there was a matching veil that really did set off the whole look of the dress. And I loved the veil. It was absolutely stunning, and it was an exact match to the dress.
The veil I did go for was accompanied the dress, and not many dresses offer that, and I really liked that it had a matching one.
So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions for Sarah Jane, just pop them in the box below, and please subscribe to our channel. Bye!
Now I found another crush, a lush life giving me a rush. Had one chance to make me blush, second time is one too late.